Yes, I'm aware how weird it is that the guy who primarily does cult and horror films is going to be sitting here and reviewing for you a Disney movie that came out a couple weeks ago called Turning Red. I had actually seen it mostly on Disney Plus, like before it was released on DVD or excuse me, Blu-ray and 4K and all that stuff. But it is about a 13-year-old girl named Melee or Melee or something like that, and she freshly turned 13 and she starts going through some things. Now, the title is definitely not lost upon me, and the fact that she randomly now turns into a red panda when she gets excited is not a metaphor lost upon this reviewer, as well as it's pretty clear, and I'm probably the 5,000th reviewer telling you this. This entire movie is a metaphor for women starting their menstrual cycle, their period. For other terms, there's probably some more fancy terms, but you don't need me, of all people, sitting here giving you this type of info. Nonetheless, the movie, wraps all this changing of life and learning to cope with, becoming a groaner child, and the rebellious nature of all that crap, and all that stuff. But it's disguised in the form of a girl who turns into a panda when she gets overly excited and stuff. And the major plot of this film, besides the fact that she's having to have a big family get together and figure out a way to get rid of this thing, which runs in the family, we learn, is her and her friends are wanting to go see basically a boy band, a boy group, kind of a Backstreet Boy. I don't know what's the newer stuff. I don't know. I forgot. Who's the one that did that song? You don't know you're beautiful. Who was that? You know what I'm talking about. You know that song. Like I don't know that stuff. Most well, actually, I probably do, but I forgot the title. But nonetheless, they're wanting to go see that group, and they're using her pandaness to exploit it and exploit the pandaness and make money so they can all go. And then the night that she's supposed to be having this thing done to get rid of this so happens to be the same night of the concert, which leads to conflict and leads to trouble. All in all, is it funny? Yes, it can be funny in spots. Even for an adult, it can be funny in spots. It's a little ridiculous, but I think it falls short of being like up there with most Disney animated things these days. Like, I don't think like what's that last thing that came out? Like the one where you don't talk about Bruno. What was that? Enchanto, whatever that was. I don't think in any realm or any possibility that we're going to have anybody talking about Turning Red in the same regards as that. I don't expect to go to Walmart and see like a whole wall of merchandise for Turning Red like you do for Enchanto or whatever that thing's called. But it's worth a watch. And it tries to be, I guess, a little bit, metaphoric and somewhat comforting to the young teens out there who are hitting, this their moment. Preferably the female ones, because for guys doing that, it's kind of weird. But I digress. This movie is a little bit fun. It's funny in some spots. Not necessarily, I think, what it needs to be a classic by Disney by any means. And now I'm a guy who watches them here and there. Obviously, when I was a kid, I used to watch all these things. But as I grew up and I don't have children, I don't see these quite often. Although most of my friends have children, so therefore there always is a possibility that one of these might be on when I'm around. This particular viewing was because Disney sent me the screener, or the voodoo code, we should say, to watch this thing. And I went back and revisited it, and the animation's good. It's a very blaring metaphoric concept, but at the end of the day, it doesn't pack quite the punch that most Disney animated films seem to pack, even if it is being very on the nose in some regards. That being said, if you have kids, you're probably gonna, I guess you could probably stomach it if they put it on. They're probably gonna like it. Probably not gonna love it like they do the other ones, but they're probably still gonna like it. And it does have its moments, but still, Turning Red, which is available now on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, all that stuff, online streaming, it's a probably 3-ish out of 5, and that's me trying to give it a Disney scale separate from like regular movies, because for me it's probably like a 2.5, but for kids it's probably 3. So Turning Red, it's awkward, and it's awkward for me to review it, but it's available now if you want to watch it.